Hello, Jeff Sawyer here of J&S Solutions. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to properly screen the application process. So this will be a two-part video. The first part will consist of the general information part of the application and then the education. Part two will go through work history and certification and authorization of the application. So let's get started, shall we? Part one is basically about general information. Inside general information, you're going to have things such as date, their date availability, their age, and their criminal background. So let's start with date. Simple process. Just make sure the date is correct, the month, the day, and the year. This is very important. I'll talk about this more in part two, about how it should match the date that's on where they sign and date the application. It's very important that those dates match. The next thing we want to discuss is date available. That's the date that they're saying they're able to come to work for you. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but a couple things you need to know and understand about this date. It is important to you. It is important for the pure fact of this is when they're available to come to work. Are they giving their previous employer a 2 weeks notice? Okay? If they don't, guess what? They won't give you one either. So it's very important that they give that notice to the employer so that you'll know that in the future, hopefully you'll get the same courtesy and hopefully have time to train somebody instead of them just walking off the job. So it's very important to know that date. And will this date work for you? Is it something you can work with or live around? Some people can, some people can't. It all depends on the circumstances. The next thing, their availability. I want to talk about their availability. This part of the application, they should list their times available. Like from 7 in the morning to 5 p.m., 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. If they write the word any, and the application passes your screening process, you want to have them rewrite the dates, the times in there. Reason being that this application is a legal document. The word any, what's a judge going to take that as if it comes to a termination and they're wanting unemployment back from you? How are they going to look at any? Because, I'll put down any, but I really want to work 7 to 5, but yeah, your shift is from 3 to 11. That's a huge problem. And that will become a problem for me eventually, and I will quit over it. So you got to keep that type of stuff in mind when you're looking at the application. That availability, you want to know what times they're available, what days they're available, and that needs to fit within what your business operates. If it does not, this will increase your turnover. You can't hire this person. So keep that in mind. The next thing is their age. It is against the law for you to ask someone how old they are. However, because of OSHA requirements for certain businesses, you can ask a question of, are you 18 years or older? Or are you 16 years or older? That can also be on the application. And you can ask that question during the interview process. You want to know how old someone is? Ask them the question, are you at least 18 years or older? And they will always say, well, I'm 27. They'll give you the answer that way. That's what you're looking for. The next thing we'll talk about is criminal. Some companies, it bothers them to have criminals working for them. Anybody that has that's been previously arrested. So the last employer I worked for, it was in a retail environment. We would not hire anybody that had a criminal background, especially if it was due to theft, because of being in a retail environment, theft is extremely high. So we did background checks on everybody. It's another reason why that date needed to be right. Because if they were to change, if that date had last year's date in it and they were convicted this year, legally, they didn't allow on their application. So it's something you need to pay attention to. You got to make sure that that date is correct. Next thing we'll talk about is the education block of the application. If your job that you're looking to fulfill requires someone with a degree, this will be very important to you. If it does not, it's not going to mean that much to you other than what did they study? You can look at questions like that. Will it work for what you're looking for as far as being part of your organization? Can that benefit you? Does it hinder you? You got to look at all that type of stuff when you're looking at their education. So it's very important that you do look at the education, even if you don't think it matters to your particular job that you're hiring for. So you always got to keep these things in mind. You're always trying to get an in-depth look at this person so that you know what they're capable of and whether or not you feel it'd be a right personality fit for your position. Remember, you're always trying to match your position to the right personality. You got to keep that in mind. For instance, you would never want to put an extrovert behind a computer to sit for 10 hours a day. It'll drive them crazy. They won't last. They have to be able to talk to people. You wouldn't put an introvert out selling products for your company out door to door because they won't last because they don't like to talk to people. So you got to make sure you match that personality to the job. Some jobs require a certain personality, and you have to know and understand that personality. That's part of reading this application, is to try to get a basic understanding of their personality. So we will continue. This will be all for video 1. I will continue with the rest of the application in video 2. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, or you can always email me at jssawyersolutions@gmail.com. Thanks, and have a great day.